So, guys, back at it again. This will be my third installment, I guess you'd call it, third video of this series. So, I was sitting here thinking about what I was going to do, but first, I have to ask a question. Just because I would like to use this transmission, if I could. But the problem is, and I'm sure some people know, is the shifter is way too far back because the 2007 Mustangs and all the S197 Mustangs were longer in the front end, and they moved the driver back, so they had to put this linkage on here to move so that the shifter, was further back to the driver. I would really like to use this transmission. My problem being that if I use this transmission, the shifter is going to be almost in the back seat. It's going to be in between the seats. What I'm wondering is anybody out there, the 3 subscribers I have and the 30 something views I have right now on my first video, second video is I think 12. But anyways, my point is there anybody that knows a kid out here that moves this forwards to right here? Because if it moves it forwards, I can use it, and I would really like to. I'm not really to the stage of putting the trans in yet, so I do have a little bit of time. So if anybody has any ideas what if there's a kid out there that moves this forwards, because I'm sure somebody has put one of these in a SN95 Mustang, New Edge Mustang, or a Fox body. I'm sure someone has done it, because there's this little bolt right here that can take this linkage off, and there's a bolt right there that takes this linkage off. So there has to be somebody that has made a kit, or maybe took some tractor parts from Tractor Supply and moved this forwards. If anybody has done that or knows anything about it, please let me know, and I would forever be grateful. Anyways, back to what I was doing. So Fox goal today is all this suspension, the K-member, all this I'm going to go ahead and take out. My tools are at work, but I'm going to see if I can do this with the bare minimal. This is going to be like a little test. It's for big bolts. Whenever I have a bolt and nut combo and it's spinning on the back side, I got this that's going to hold it, and I literally got just a basic tool set from Tractor Supply, I think is where I got this. So I'm going to see if I can get somewhere with that. I don't know if I'm going to have the right sizes, but I'm just going to try and see if I can do something with all this. And the main issue is that some people that have Fox bodies knows that what I'm kind of more concerned about is that the pinch welds crush on these from nothing. A lot of people will jack these up from the engine support, or if you have subframe connectors, you can jack it up on that. This car does not have subframe connectors yet, but so I'm going to be fooling around and seeing if I can jack this up safely and support it. I don't know, because the radiator support, you can tell that someone's already tried to jack it up right there and crushed it and pulled it back down with whatever means, so it's all wrinkled. So I can't jack there. I can jack it up by the frame rails, but I only have one jack. My other one was stolen out of my driveway, so I can try and jack it up from the frame rails and just do one side at a time or something like that. My jack stands are right here. They're smaller jack stands, so even if I get it up in the air, I can't use the jack stands on the frame rails. So I'm just trying to figure out something to do here for getting this up supported, so I can take this K-member, all the suspension and everything out, and get this out of the way, because then I can put my new K-member in and actually get the new suspension and everything I have on the front end up. And then all I gotta do is get the control arms for the rear and the solid mounts right here. I want to do the solid mounts, get the control arms and these, and this rear end can go in, and I can actually maybe set this on the ground. I have some wheels that'll fit it. It's not the wheels that's going to go on it, but it will allow me to roll this around and actually move it again, because I actually would like to sometime whenever I'm doing a lot of stuff to it, I would like to move it further towards the middle of the garage so I have more room on the driver's side, or maybe whenever I'm not doing as much work to it, pushing it to the side and actually getting to utilize my garage. But so with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get started and see if I can just do a time-lapse video of me doing this. If anybody has any other suggestions on how they want me to film, I'm totally up for suggestions. Like I said, this is or like all of you know, this is my first really try at this. I've never really filmed myself, so I'm also kind of awkward on camera. But we'll go ahead and get started with the time lapse of me trying to get this off. And you know, if something happens or if I'm trying to have a thought process, I may stop and film that and then go back into the time lapse. But let's go ahead and get started. So it's so hot that my camera decided to stop working. It's like 97 degrees outside and this garage is probably way hotter. I actually can walk outside to cool down. But so got this side off, all except one bolt. Starting on this side right here. And then I just happened to just randomly pop in my head to go check the camera and see if it is recording, and it was not. So kind of giving you a little bit of an update. So here's the bolt that came out right here. One thing about these is that sleeve that's up in there inside the frame rail, they put a sleeve in here so that whenever you're tightening these bolts down, it doesn't crush the frame rail together. Kind of lost my train of thought. My phone's popping up notifications, but you can see right here it's a little rusty, pitted and stuff, but honestly that's not bad. I've seen them to where it's like down to a 1/4 inch eat away on both sides, and whenever you try to loosen these, the sleeve will break loose and you can loosen it and this bolt will stand up off of it, but you can't get this bolt out. You had to literally take like a hammer or something and knock it down or just cut it out. So the sleeve in there should be fine. I need to actually do something to kind of prevent it from rusting even more. Excuse me. And so I'll probably do that, but that's some good news. Over here, over there where the strut tower rod is, I kind of don't have as high of hopes, but got my fingers crossed, hoping that it will actually be some good news over there since a repair has been done. But let's go ahead and hop back into it now that I got my phone cooled back down. So my phone overheated again, but I got the engine cradle, K-member, what do you want to say? I got all that out. Car's actually pretty decent on that side. That repair, that patch panel is actually going to work. Super stoked about that, which means I don't have to buy the repair kit to where you got to cut all that out and put new sleeves in the frame and have them set up and tack weld and weld a bunch of stuff on. I'm just going to roll with it. The front end of it, it still has that plate right there. That plate, it should work for now. All the actual parts that support the engine and everything like that is good. The only thing that I think could ever really happen is if I get hit on the driver's side, that it will probably crack and break right there, which isn't really that big of a deal to me because I would like to at one point cut all that out from the strut towers forwards and do the tube front end that everybody has. But for now, I was going to give you a little bit of an update on a couple of things that I actually have. For one, I got a radiator and cooling fan out of a 2007 Mustang from LKQ. Already set it up in there. My phone's actually on like 3% battery, so I'm having to hover here with this cord, so I can't really walk around that much. I'm just going to finish up this video because it's the weekend and I've actually got a couple other things I have to do. But let me see here. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah. So right here, this is a bar for radiator support on a newer BMW SUV, but I'm going to take those radiator, the little radiator supports off. And I was actually looking at this where I worked at a body shop. A BMW came in. It was smashed in the front end. This was okay on it, but whenever we bought a new radiator support, it came with a new one of these, so I didn't want to throw this away. I actually just cabbaged onto it hoping that it would work, but actually it fits up perfect to the rails on this Mustang. So this is going to be my front hoop. Super stoked about that. It's aluminum too, so it's actually lightweight, which is what I want. But I don't really trust the plastic crash bar that is on this front end that they basically rely on these Mustangs. So I'll actually take these two little, I don't really know what you call them, buffers or whatever, off, and I'll put this hoop on there. So there's my little budget hoop for the front end of this car. So next week, hopefully, I'm going to dress the engine bay. I'm going to get that master cylinder and everything out, all the brake lines, everything is going to come out, and then I'm going to dress up the engine bay, paint it, get if I got to wire wheel some areas or whatever, put some self-etch primer over it, some more primer, and then white paint. Hopefully going to do the whole engine bay in white. That way if there's any leaks or anything, I'll be able to see it, and plus it'll just transition really good to where hopefully it'll reflect light back to the motor. That way anything happens, I'll be able to see it pretty well, and if I have a leak or anything, it will splatter and I will see where it's basically coming from, if there's any errors going on. And then maybe I'll start on the motor, because after I get the engine bay dressed up, I can get the K-member in, make sure that it fits up, bolts in. Then I'll go ahead and start on this motor, get everything going on it. Still trying to figure out the transmission issues. Like I said, if you guys can help me out on this linkage issue that I'm having, to where I can use this transmission, all that help would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys next week.